All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans for Tuesday, August 2nd, 2022. My name is Bill Soroka, founder of Notary Business Builder and author of Sign and Thrive, How to Make Six Figures as a Mobile Notary Loan Signing Agent. I'm here with my fabulous co-host, Laura Biewer. Hey, Laura, how's it going?
No introduction.
What's that?
I said, who needs no introduction?
Who needs no introduction? Laura Biewer, how's it going?
It is fantastic. I am excited to see we've got 80 people starting out and it's climbing as we go. Glad you're safe in your new place and lots of exciting things are happening. So we want to wait a little bit for our announcements.
Yeah, well, let's introduce our co-host for today as well, who just about doesn't need any introduction either. Jen Neitzel, founder of Signing Agent Marketing and now Simple Authentic Marketing, right, Jen? Hey.
Hey, well, we are changing our tagline to simplified authentic marketing. Yes, because I got to keep Sam, right? But thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to be here and hear everybody's questions and help where I can.
All right, wonderful. So it's going to be the three of us tag teaming it. I love, we even have Judy and Jen filled in for me last week. Thank you so much for doing that. It's been an exciting week for sure. And yes, we do have a couple of announcements that I just want to kick off first. Shanice, are you on the call with us today yet?
I saw her.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, she's
I just unmuted myself, sorry.
All right, no problem. Everyone, I want to introduce you to Shanice Lafort. Shanice, Laura had an opportunity to meet at Notary Symposium. Can you hold on real quick? Can you guys hear that? Is it loud?
Yeah, is it the dogs?
No, it's a fighter jet flying over my house right now. They don't have police helicopters here. They have fighter jets in Washington, apparently. So let that pass here in just a second. I'd like to introduce you to Shanice Lafort. Shanice is running a CEO wellness event on August 13th this month, and I want to introduce you to her so she can tell you a little bit about that. Shanice, I think this is such an important event. We're talking about mental wellness, physical wellness for people who run their own company. Thank you so much for putting on this event. Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. So I am the owner of SNS Notary out in Sacramento, California. And I wanted to put this event together. It's not just for notaries, it's for all business owners, because we all have failures and we get depressed once we fail at something. And then it's like we get scared to try again because we're scared we're going to fail again, right? And so with this event, it's for everyone to be supported. And we're going to teach you how to to make your failures profitable. We're also going to teach you how to pull yourself out of that depression. We're going to teach you how to grow, maintain, and protect your business. We're also going to give you a chance to win cash prizes. And then you will have your food catered, and it's just going to be a good supporting event. Because I know with me becoming a notary, I was in the medical field for 11 years. And my family was just like, you're done, pretty much. They didn't support me. They told me, oh, notaries don't make no money. And when you're looking for that support from your family or friends, it kind of is negative. You start to think that maybe I can't do this. And I just want to give back to people and let you know that you can do this. Even though you don't have that support, you got to remember this is your dream and not theirs. And so just keep going forward.
I love that you are taking this on, Shanice, because that's the reality, especially when we have big dreams, we have big plans, and things don't quite turn out exactly how we think. We can get that inner critic can be a real jerk sometimes and tear us down. I think it's important to learn strategies to get you through this. So I love that you're doing this. And Laura, thank you so much for connecting me with Shanice too. I know this is important to you as well. I think we should also clarify, this is an in-person event, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, wonderful. And I posted the link there in the chat. For those who are watching the replay, Shanice, Do you have a place they can go to book or reserve their seats?
Yeah, so they could go to my Instagram page, is at SS Notary LLC, and then the link is in my bio. And so if you're in Northern California, just come on down and grab a seat. You know, it's going to be amazing. It is my first in-person event, and I'm excited because my goal is to just help everyone be a better them when they walk away from the event. Because it's like, if you can't show up for yourself, you can't show up for your business.
That's so true. Laura, I saw you unmute. Did you have something else to add to that?
No, I just didn't want to forget. What is the day?
So it's August 13th. It's a Saturday, and it's from 1 to 5.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Shanice, and thank you so much for thinking about something so outside the box. I see Phil's here too, and I know Phil has always something to say on this in particular. Phil, thanks for being here. You want to unmute and share?
Well, I just want to say, sorry, I'm eating while I'm trying to drive and not multitasking at all, I promise. But Shanice, I got a chance to meet her just recently and just so excited about what she's bringing to the notary community. I know many of you who are part of Clubhouse, there's a lot of information about wellness and taking care of yourself. And that is so important in everyday life that you do that. And Shanice has put together a great panel. She even asked me to do a little presentation to talk about how you can basically take care of yourself, and that's going to make your business grow so much greater. So really looking forward to making this happen. Really looking forward to seeing many people on August 13th. So Shanice, congratulations on a great event. I look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
All right. Awesome, Phil. And thanks again for being here, Shanice. I'll support you any way I can. All right, let's jump into Tuesday Notary Titans now. Guys, TNT is like an old-fashioned call-in radio show, except we're right here live on camera, hopefully. And we can answer all your questions about the notary business, unusual situations, client marketing, the changing environment, anything you've got. You got 3 experts right here on the call that can help you out with that. We've got Laura Biewer from CoachMeLaura.com. We've got Jen Neitzel from Simplified Authentic Marketing. And you've got myself, founder of NotaryCoach.com. We're happy to help. The best way that this call works is to use the raise hand feature in Zoom. So if you raise your hand, and you can do that by going to the reactions button down below. If you hover around my face right now, or Shanice's face, because that's who I'm seeing right now. Let me get Shanice muted there. And then you can click the raise hand feature. We'll call on you. Tell us what state you're in, and then jump right into your question. If you have to give us a little bit of context, just a sentence or two, and then ask your question, and then you can mute out. And either Laura, Jen, or myself can answer that question for you. So I don't see any hands up quite yet. Do we have anybody who has the courage today on a Tuesday to ask the first question? Going to be too easy on Amber Nicole. Thank you. How's it going? How can we help today?
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi. I am so glad to be here, first of all, and congratulations on the move, Bill. I'm in sunny California, so I'm like really, really jelly of you having like rainy weather.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Okay, so my question is, since I'm in California and I have had, business has been booming for me exponentially since I joined, what was it, 2 months ago? And I didn't really even start really divulging until last month. But to gain estate planning and attorneys, what do you think is the best approach? Because I know it's a little bit different than obviously, you know, kind of getting into those circles than like an escrow officer, a realtor. And I am with BNI, so I have made a couple connections already. But what would you suggest would be like, since I definitely want to be with estate attorneys and other attorneys for that matter?
Yeah. So that's such a great question, Amber Nicole. Is it Amber Nicole altogether? Okay, thank you so much. I think I love that we're getting a chance to kick off TNT with that question, because there's a lot of people looking to pivot and expand their business right now. So Laura, I'm going to bring you up first, because I know this is in particular one of her specialties. Laura does this kind of work a lot. And then I'll piggyback on that, and we'll see if Jen has something to offer as well. Laura, come on up. What do you think? What's the best suggestion for connecting and building a business with living trust or estate planning attorneys?
So a couple different ways that's happened for me. One was my chamber. I met attorneys. Another one was through my synagogue. I met attorneys. Another one was I actually went out and knocked on doors. And when attorneys off through the chamber, I did the ribbon cutting events, where when somebody opened their door, then we had the big ribbon, the big giant scissors, and you're a small group. So it's like, I don't know, 6, 7 people show up for that. And you get a chance to be one-on-one with the attorney. So when I say chamber, I don't mean the big mixers. I mean the smaller events where it's a smaller group of people to do that. And of course, I maintain a small office downtown, like attorney center, because it's all by the courthouse. So because of my address, I get picked up by the local attorneys who have offices all around me. And I chose to put my office in an attorney's office, not an estate planning one, family law, but he, of course, is connected with all kinds of attorneys. So that helped give me a boost as well. And then the other thing is, attorneys, just like escrow officers and other people, they hang out in certain places. So where are they? How do I get in their orbit? So they have their own kind of meetings, just like real estate has their, what do you call them? Their association meetings. They have that for attorneys as well. So you want to maybe find out from the bar association if there's any association, local chapters or association for the attorneys, and if they're open to non-attorneys attending one of those events. And of course, you're already part of BNI. That's another good way to do that. Or Red Star is another BNI type of organization in California. I think those are and then the other thing is reaching out to them. Well, I guess what I say is I get a lot of estate planning work right from clients. So the attorney does all the work, and then when they're ready for, they ship off this binder of documents, and some of them ask the client to go ahead and get their own notary, make sure they get it notarized. So it's not just direct work from the attorney. I also get it direct from the client, which means my Google My Business page and every profile I could possibly have has to have that information that I handle those kinds of documents as well.
I love
personally. Oh, sorry, Bill. For me personally, I've been getting a lot through Google My Business, and are just finding me. And it's like, okay, well, I definitely know how to, perfilate and go through the estate plan. Plus, I also recalibrated through Laura's, through the NBB. I did the whole estate planning thing just to make sure that I knew that I was doing it correctly.
Yes.
So that's been working great, but I just want to, cultivate that relationship with those attorneys on a constituent kind of basis, and how to gain more business through them directly, not just from the clients themselves.
So have you thought about looking to see who the attorney is that prepared it, and then following up with that attorney? Hey, I just took care of your client. Have you thought about following up with them?
I do. So I'm really big about communication is like the holy grail of everything, right? So you can over communicate. So I always like to introduce myself when I get the documents and tell them, oh, I'm the notary for this and such client of yours. And then I let them know when it's done. And I've had just 1 or 2 come in, but not anything to grow. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see fruition for that.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you understood what I was saying, Amber. I was saying the ones you get direct from clients.
Mhm.
Do you call the attorney or follow up with that attorney to say you just delivered one of their trust packages and took care of their client for them?
Yes, that's exactly what I
Okay,
was.
I just want to make sure.
Okay, this is a really good conversation. We're going to dig in deep on this for a couple minutes too. And Laura and Amber, Nicole, you just touched on it as well. But Laura, maybe you could elaborate just a little bit too on the importance of understanding how to do the work in the first place and the advantages that come with that.
So you need to know the lingo. So if you haven't taken my class or some kind of training so that you know what the documents are called, you know what they do, you know what to look for when there could potentially be something missing or a mistake, just like we do with loan signings, that you know that kind of set of documents like the back of your hand. Some of the estate planning packages I've delivered have had glossaries in them, and they've had entire sections that are really meant for the signer that says, this is what this document's about. It's like a paragraph on each one. And it tells you, what's important about it and why they need it in their trust and what it does for them. So I think one of the reasons that I have ongoing work with the attorneys that I do is that they see me as a signing professional that understands what their business is about. Specifically, I'm not a notary who does everything. I have specialty going on. And when I develop a specialty, it means I deep dive and find out, all about it and what are other things to consider. And as a result, I've had attorneys consult with me about what the right notarization should be. I cannot make that determination because I'm not an attorney. It doesn't mean I don't know. And so attorneys have loved it when they said, Laura, we're going to be doing this affidavit death of joint tenant. Everything's usually an acknowledgement, but isn't that different? And I can share with them, yeah, if you look at the code for the county, it's going to tell you that you need to have a jurat performed. So I tell them where exactly it is, so they don't just have to take Laura Biewer's word. But they love that I know that. And I think that's what makes me stand apart from any other notary who's doing estate planning in my city.
I love that. I think that's so important. And guys, you don't start off at expert level, right? Laura didn't just wake up one day and suddenly download all this information. She learned it from experience and saying, well, shoot, what is that? Curiosity drove it to probate code and researching all of this to become the expert. And you all have this at your fingertips. You guys can become the expert in your area. Now, the avenue that I'd like to present too for this is getting super clear. Like Amber Nicole just brought to the table that she wants more estate planning appointments. She wants these living trust appointments. That's the very surface level of identifying who your ideal customer is. I encourage you all to dive deeper into this. Who do you want to work with? Why do you want to work with them? What are their characteristics and traits? And this is the tack I've been taking in Phoenix. We'll do the same thing here in Washington, but in Phoenix, I just got really clear that I don't want to fight over $65 to $100 appointments anymore. So I want to work with clients who have clients that appreciate their time over their money. Mm-hmm. So I want to get paid what I want to get paid without arguments. I want to work with staff of attorneys or attorneys that are borderline OCD in their attention to detail. I love when all the documents are correct. I love that they've triple checked them. So I've written all this out. Like if you keep it in your head and try to remember this, guys, you forget things. And then we act out of desperation. You're like, oh my gosh, I just want all the business. Well, guess what? I can guarantee you do not want all the business. No. There are people that you will not want to work with. They trample over you. They don't pay right. They're mean. It turns your stomach when they call. All of those people exist out there. Get super clear on who you do want to work with. Mm-hmm. Find out how you want to feel when they call. How do you want to feel at the signing table when you walk in the door? What's the energy like? The clearer you get on that, I don't know exactly how it works, guys, but it works. I mean, those opportunities, those doors, this is law of attraction stuff, right? It just opens these types of doors in communication. It doesn't mean that you have to say no to people who don't fit that mold necessarily, but you'll get more of the opportunities you want. You can start being more selective. The clearer you get about who you want to work with, this is identifying your ideal customer. And this is where it helps. Like Laura mentioned, SEO, your search engine optimization on your Google business profile. But when you know who your exact customer is, you start using that language that would appeal to them. You know that they value time over money. You know that their attention to detail. You know the clients they're trying to attract. You start getting in their orbit and using language that attracts more of that when you got that clarity. The other huge thing is attend 5 client getting events. You can't attend 5 client getting events every single year if you don't know who your client is. Once you've got that clarity, you start saying, hey, I want to work with estate planning attorneys that work with decamillionaires or above. That means they have $10 million net worth or higher. There are circles that cater to $25 million or $100 million net worth above that. There's circles within circles within circles of these attorney groups that cater to these different groups. Decide who you want to work with. They all meet, they all congregate somewhere, and you can register for those events. You can attend, you can sponsor, you can be a vendor, you could do all kinds of things. Just get in their orbit one way or the other. If you attend 5 of these client getting events every single year, your life and your business will change forever.
People, just to kind of go off of like what you just said about networking, especially with the high value attorneys that deal with like the decamillionaires and whatnot, right? In my experience before, those types of attorneys don't really network so much as like the lower attorneys. Not that they're like a lower grade or anything. I don't mean to sound very nonchalant about that. I'm sorry. But the ones that don't deal with that sort of clientele, how do you get in contact with those more so than, you know, your average estate attorneys?
It's a really good question. So what I like about the top performing notaries is they usually show up somewhere. They usually have a solid social media presence. They've got some other people running it, of course, but that's how you're going to get into their orbit. Their decision makers are going to be office managers or paralegals, and that's okay, whoever the decision maker might be. But also there's 2 resources that I want you guys to look up too, is superlawyers.com and findlaw.com. Any attorney that you would want, the super lawyers are those top performing lawyers across the country. You can at least start finding out who they are. You know, they're paying a premium to be there. They have requirements to be there. You can get a feel for what they're doing by looking at their social media and their reputation. And that brings me to the next point too. Is
super lawyers, and what was the other one, Bill?
Findlaw.com.
Find that.
The attorneys at a certain, at almost any level I found, especially when they're just graduated, they just get thrown out into the world, right? They just get their law degree. They don't have the support. They don't teach them how to run a business. They are just like us. They're solopreneurs. They get thrown out into the world. They're hustling. They're trying to find customers. So the fastest way to build a relationship with an attorney is to bring them a client. Help make their dreams come true. We all have clients that all need a living will and trust, or a living will at least, or I'm sorry, a last will and testament, probably a living will too, or a trust, because like 80% estimated of adults in the US do not have an estate plan in place. So you can count on knowing somebody who needs it. So if you bring them a client, you're going to be their best friend right away. The other thing is, no matter where they are at, if they're just starting out or if they've been an attorney for 30 years, I've found that in the legal profession that reputation and personal referrals make a huge difference. So if you haven't learned how to ask a current client for a referral, that would be an art I would highly recommend. And yes, everybody, all of these offices, guys, and even in some states, attorneys can be their own notary. They're going to have paralegals that are notaries too, just like you hear it from the escrow officers. oh, we take care of our own signings, or we've got in-house notaries, right? You're going to hear that everywhere. So not every client is going to be your ideal customer. Remember, get clear on who your ideal customer is. Your ideal customer values their time over anything. And if you're catering to clients, like attorneys, who demand that their clients come into an office to sign paperwork, that's not your ideal customer. Your ideal customer is a client who is going to cater to whatever their clients want. I guarantee you their clients don't want to come into the office to sign paperwork. They want somebody who's going to come to them no matter where they're at, on the tarmac of Scottsdale Airport, at their hotel resort while they're on vacation, at their home, their second home, their third home, whatever it might be. They just want convenience. This is the convenience economy. It's not going to be everybody, and that's okay. But there are plenty of customers who do this. And here's the other huge push in the legal world right now, are virtual law firms. You've got these attorneys who, through the past couple of years of the pandemic, realized that they don't want an office. They don't want to be tied to a suit and tie. They want to be out in the world building a virtual law firm. And guess what? They need people like you and I to make that happen. They need boots on the ground to handle the notarization aspect, because that sometimes is the most personal connection on some of these huge life transactions. And even if you're remote online notarization, there's huge opportunity for you here too. It's in person and Ron. So Amber Nicole, I hope that was valuable. Jen, real quick, I want to pass it over to you. I mean, we really went deep on this, but Jen, do you have anything that you would add to this?
I was going to talk about bringing them clients. So you stole that one, but I would say to Amber Nicole is to understand that when, and this applies to everybody on the call who's trying to cultivate relationships with people. If you understand that just because you're introduced to somebody, right, and you've identified that person as your ideal client, you need to continue to follow up with them and build a relationship with them, and understand that just because you met one time doesn't make you automatically their favorite notary, right? It's about putting in the effort to continue to show up and have them see you with regularity, have them see you show up in your professionalism, and be that notary that's always around, so that it's the know, like, and trust factor that Bill talks about all the time. That's a simple, I mean, my parents told me that growing up, right? People do business with people they know, like, and trust is built over time. So just level setting that, even if you do go knocking on doors, like Laura said, just because you knock on a door doesn't mean they're going to be using your services. You've got to do the follow-up and showing up at these events afterwards.
And for like the attorneys that I've been dealing with have been out of state or out of my area, but their clients are out here. And yeah, I send them like an actual handwritten card, and no business card, just, hey, blah, 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 follow the whole little protocol,
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm just feeling goody gumdrops. Here you go, just saying hi. What do you recommend, like, because obviously I can't just walk in their office and I can't, touch point that way. Obviously it would have to be through like an email or social media. How would you recommend doing that? What would you say?
I would just flat out ask, let them know that you are interested in staying in touch with them so you can service their clients in your area. And Bill, will you make me a co-host really quick so I can help silence some of
Yes, thank you. I will.
And ask them if they would like to keep in touch. Amber Nicole, did I hear you say your NBB? Yeah, so you can set emails, reminders to reach out to these folks then, or you can set reminders, in your Tom app to reach out to these folks, and just stay in touch with them at least once a month. So, because it's out of sight, out of mind, right? If they're seeing something from you at least once a month and something comes up in your area of town, they're going to remember to reach out to you. I love that you're doing the handwritten cards. That's awesome. That's such a great touch. Everybody loves getting a handwritten card, right? It's the best.
Thank you so much for all this. You guys, like, this is the first time being on this kind of a call, and since I joined, and like, it's been so uplifting and so like fun. finally feel like I'm not an entrepreneur by myself. I actually have a board of directors. So thank you for including me and answering my phone.
It's totally our pleasure. Thank you so much for being here, Amber Nicole, and thank you for kicking off. I think that was a great topic on so many people's minds. Thank you.
Good luck, everybody.
All right, thank you. All right, Dan Brewer, it's such a pleasure to see you on today. What's going on?
How you doing, Bill?
Good.
So I wanted to say 2 words. I think you guys all know what they're going to be. Notary Masters. Thursday morning, we have a special guest speaker this week, in addition to our 2 normal speakers that we're also going to be celebrating as well. So 9:30, notarymasters.org for Toastmasters. We meet this Thursday, and our Toastmaster this week is our good friend and president, Mr. Dennis LaRue. So everybody put that on your calendar for Thursday.
Right.
I have 2 questions, and my first one is regarding a specific signing service. I'm not going to mention the name because I know they're a very close firm. Everybody gets work from them. I'm struggling with them. And right now what's going on is for one thing, I had 3 outstanding loans from March that I'd closed. I still haven't been paid for. So I reached out to them this week about it, and they told me that one of the 3 was going to be zeroed out because they had to reassign the loan to another notary because of they said there was poor print quality on it. I'm telling you, this is the first I've heard of it. They didn't if they would have told me they had a problem with one of my loans, I would have gone through heaven and earth. I would have gone to a title company, printed out nice and special. I would have taken a loss if I had to make it right. And I never heard a word from them. And the other 2, they kind of hemmed and hawed and gave me some excuse for why they're late. And I'm like, this is one of these companies that also puts a lot of, they'll have 5 pages of instructions and half of them are in bold, and they all say stuff like, be sure you're on time and don't forget to wear your nice clothes and everything. Is it okay for me to just, I know they can blackball me. Can I blackball them?
Dan, great question. Jen, I saw you immediately unmute. Do you have some feedback for Dan?
Well, I was actually going to say, Daniel, do you have Legal Shield?
Yeah.
Okay. So tap into that to collect payment, because if they never gave you notification, it's been March, April, May, June, July, 5 months. It's, ridiculous. You should have been paid by now. It was still your time and effort and gas to go out there and perform the notarization. So I would turn some of this maybe over to Legal Shield if you have them, and let them do their thing. But to answer your question, absolutely. You don't have to take an assignment from a signing service that you're not happy with. Unfortunately, these things happen. I've had to fire customers before too. It sucks, but at the same time, I feel better because I know I'm not going to be worried every time I accept a job from them.
Yeah.
Or be upset,
They were one of the 2 companies that kept me working for March and April when we had, in February, when the first raise in interest rates went up, our businesses went right off the table, right? They were one of the 2 companies that kept me working. And so I at that point, I felt a little loyalty because I was getting some work from them at least. At this point, I only have 1 company giving me, by the way, they haven't called me for an assignment. I'm assuming I got blackballed for whatever happened, but every 3rd word on their instructions is communication. And I felt that if they had a problem with one of my signings, that they could have done a little bit better job of communicating as well.
Dan, I think
Okay.
jamming out here. Oh, he's got to take that call. That's business. Laura, Dan, are you back?
I'm back. Yeah, I'll call him back. But yes, it was business, so I will call them back. Absolutely.
So Dan, I think I know there's a lot of different ways that we can look at this. For me, this is just standard relationship management stuff. There is relationships only work when they're win-win, 50-50, give and take, right? And when that gets out of balance for one reason or the other, because we do it too, right? We forget things, maybe we make mistakes, whatever. They make decisions, we make decisions, and that's it. That's why a lot of people don't like a relationship-based business. They'd rather just get dinged up, order, and fulfill those orders and not have to manage a relationship. I get the value of that. Because relationships, you know, people step on each other's toes, they say the wrong thing. We've got all of this that we have in balance. And you've got a relationship that's out of balance right now. So you get to decide what works for you and what doesn't. And that's the beauty of being in a business for ourselves. Wow. Like what Jen said, firing a client absolutely sucks, but when you prioritize peace of mind above all else, it really clears the way for the good stuff. Like we were talking about earlier with the ideal customers. You want part of your ideal customer is going to be customers that pay on time and that communicate effectively with you. Those companies do exist, even though our market has changed right now. Those companies still exist. The only other thing I wanted to throw in here before I invite Laura up here too, is if anybody on this call has a similar experience to this, and you're a member of Carrie Rivera's Notary Reviews, please participate in that community and share your thoughts. That's an opportunity that we have to rate and review the companies that hire us so we can help each other either avoid companies or work with companies, right? So if you run into this, make sure you star rate and review those. Laura, I want to bring you up real quick before Dan asks his second question.
So what I want to say is I went through a major downsizing of clients or vendors or whatever you want to call them, because my list of managing who's paid, who hasn't, how many days has it been, was taking up my billable time. And that was non-billable time. And so I had to let go of people, or I should say businesses or those hiring companies who did not meet the requirements, just as we have requirements to be signing agents. The companies I do business with have requirements. And if they don't meet my requirements, meaning they don't pay me on time or at all, they don't have the proper support. If they're asking me to do after hours assignments, their packages are horrible. There are certain things that I don't want to take those kinds of jobs. And once I fired them all, and I mean, we're talking maybe about 40 of them that I just knocked off at one time and said, you know what? These are the ones. I identified about 25 and I said, these are the only ones I'm going to work with. And once I did that, my work in process, meaning work that I've done but haven't been paid for, reduced significantly. And then I did use Legal Shield to go after some of those who weren't paying me. So I was doing both at the same time. And then as I diversified outside of loan signing work into specialty work, I really didn't have that problem because that's not how it worked. I was paid directly and either on the spot most times. And even when it wasn't on the spot, it was pretty quick turnaround. So those were the three things. You know, one is I identified who is jerking my chain. They were out. Second was I went after those who owed me money. And third was I diversified where I was getting my work. So I didn't have to feel that sense of, well, they're the only one giving me work right now, so I need to work for them. You know what? It doesn't help to do the work if they're not paying you. You're working for free. I might as well stay home and work on my business instead of going out upside down. So that's what I wanted to add.
Yeah, I'm so glad you did that. And Dan had a follow-up too.
It's a second question, really. I have a signing coming up where they want me to validate a copy certification here in Oregon which is legal here for a high school diploma. It's for a Spanish passport, and apparently the consulate wants the stamp right on the. They want both documents to be endorsed, which would mean placing some kind of a stamp or something on the actual diploma that the kid walked through when he graduated from high school. I just think putting anything on that diploma is just. It's going to be just 12 times. I mean, there's only 12. I mean, it's just going to be 12 times as bad. So I basically told her that it may be something I can do. It's not something I really want to do. And we're trying to work through another solution that will satisfy everybody, but what's your feeling there?
Laura, do you have an opinion on this?
Yeah, the first thing I do is to say, can you do that? Meaning, what does your state law say about putting your seal in two different places? In my state, you can only put it on one place, which is next to your signature, next to the wording. So
We can go sheet to sheet and go do a diagonal stamp across.
okay, so you're allowed to do that. So that's the first place I would have gone, is to find out what I'm allowed to do. Second thing is, what is it? I mean, it's a high school diploma, right? Is what you're certifying. And what is it that you're concerned about?
I'm just concerned about mucking up somebody's diploma. I mean, it's to me, I mean, there's a handful of documents that I don't want to mess with. One is I mean, we can, if I could just certify a copy with a loose certificate, that'd be fine. Or
Okay,
even a certificate stamp, and I offered that to them. But we do have a special, as you know, Laura, in Oregon, we have a special law about diplomas. That this particular diploma is a high school diploma. It doesn't fall into those rules, so it's okay to be copy certified. It's not a college diploma.
Daniel, what about your client? I know you don't like mucking up his high school diploma. Does the client?
The client's okay with it, unfortunately.
Okay.
So I mean, I feel like I'm probably going to do it, but man, it's just going to be. I feel like I'm treading on sacred land here. So
yeah, but that's your feel. That's your feelings.
I know.
That's how you feel about it. But that doesn't sound like it's how your client feels about it. And he's needing to use this diploma to do something that's more important for him now. So sometimes we project our own feelings onto our clients and speak for them. And I just want to make sure you're not doing that.
I am. So I need to not. So that's the answer.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
All right.
See you Thursday, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for being here. All right, Bonnie, thank you so much for being here. You want to unmute, tell us what state you're in and how we can help. Bonnie, I see you're looking for the mute here. Let me see if I can send you a request to unmute. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Sure can. Hi.
Hi. Listen, I'm a new notary, and is it okay if I just share a quick experience that I had with an attorney's firm? Is that okay if I don't have a question?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, so I've been a notary for a year, but I also own another business. So I've been lollygagging around. I was a little nervous. So 3 weeks ago at 7:30 in the morning, I got a phone call from an attorney's firm in Houston. And I guess she saw me on Notary Cafe, she told me. And she has a client. They're a mesothelioma law, a national law firm. And she had 24, this is my very first notary job. She had 24 jurats that I had to sign. And it was only like 2 miles from my house, and I was to meet the attorney there, and there was no table. It was 100 degrees in the house. So I'm working off of a TV tray, and everybody was busy yakking. And after the 24th jurat, I noticed that he was signing them all wrong. So he was, instead of John Doe, he was signing a John William Casey Joe. So we had to start all over again. I had to come home, and the attorney went to his hotel and he sent me all the files, and I printed everything, and we had to start all over again. But this woman, for some reason, was completely impressed with, I have a very small website that I put together. I'm also a Medicare insurance broker. And I put on there, I'm very comfortable and confident in people's homes. And she was like completely impressed with me for some crazy reason. And she told me, I said, I'm a new notary, you know that? And she hesitated for a minute. And then she goes, well, you've had the same training as everybody else, right? And I said, well, right. And that was before I found out I was going to be doing 24 jurats. So, you know, so, and then I come home and I have I live in a gated community with 3,400 homes. And somebody in our Facebook group asked if they knew of anybody who, a notary who made house calls. And this is the same day. I said, well, I'm a notary who makes house calls. And so they had me come over. They said, what do you charge? I said, I charge $35 for a travel fee, which was like 2 miles from my house, and $15 for that. So I got $50. I was there for like an hour and a half, just chatting and having fun. And the client said her brother is a real estate agent here in where I live. And she was going to recommend me. She says, I see that you're a loan signing agent. I said, I'm going to recommend you to my brother. So everybody that's new, it can happen. It just, I don't know. I just think that this is a great market for people. You know, I mean, I had to notarize every single job this 80-year-old man had worked at his entire life. Right, he gave a statement for every single job, and I had to notarize the affidavits for him. Yeah. And honestly, there's a lot of mesothelioma attorneys across the country that need notaries all over the place. So I'm just, I just wanted to share that experience. It was really, and I have an appointment this afternoon for my next door neighbor who needs something signed. So you never know, you know.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Welcome to the industry. Welcome to finally taking your first step. And when it rains, it pours sometimes.
Yes.
It's huge. And I love what you brought up, mesothelioma. There are a lot of notaries or a lot of attorneys doing that. Here's how you know, guys. Watch the commercials. I barely watch TV, but when I'm at the barber or a bar and restaurant and they've got TV on, guess what attorney commercials come on? Car accidents and mesothelioma. That tells you that there's a market for that, because they're not pumping millions of dollars in marketing and advertising because they're not making money on it, right? There is a market there. They need those services. I think that's a great niche as well. So thanks for sharing, Bonnie. And
well, you're welcome.
You also you brought up a good point too, is what happens when you start talking about your business. Guys, how many people in your personal networks right now don't know that you're a notary? I believe that we all know exactly who we need to know already to make this business anything you want it to be. We just haven't talked to the right person yet. So connect with your own network, warm up your own network. Thank you for sharing, Bonnie. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I hope I can unmute this now.
I'm going to mute you.
Thank you. Or mute me. Thank you.
Oh, wait, you left. Jen, can you mute Bonnie for me? I can't navigate on this.
I did it.
Thank you so much. Lorraine, thank you so much for being here. I know you're in Oregon. How can we help today?
Oh, well, first of all, welcome to the Pacific Northwest. Hope you enjoy it here.
Pleasure to be here.
And kind of piggybacking on what she was just saying, as I have 3 kind of wins and shares. And I had gone out a couple of months ago and done pop-ins at some of the kind of upscale apartments in town, and got my first one there. And so that's very cool. I'll be talking to the receptionist today. She was telling me that she's been passing out my cards and want to know how many I'd gotten. So that's exciting. I was on vacation for 3 weeks in June and asked another notary in town. We'd never met before, but I'd looked at her website and so on, and we chatted, and I asked her to please take over for me any calls that I might receive, and which she did. And she's also now referring to me. So got another call for that referral from her. So it's really, and I was so hesitant. I've been doing this for a long time, and like so many people, hesitant to just do that networking because I was afraid that somebody else was going to steal my business. And no, we're helping each other. So, and I couldn't take one for her. I was busy, and I have somebody else, and I was able to refer her on. And the lady, the client was able to get her documents notarized. So it's really good to network. And the last thing is I took Jim Allen's class, the Google Business Profile.
Yes.
and have started working on his 10 points that he wants us to work on, our homework. And that's starting to ring a little bit now too. So
Awesome.
just work on that SEO. So I just wanted to share that it works. Thank you.
I love it, Lorraine. Congratulations. That's
Thank
so huge. And I love that you planted a seed a couple months ago and then you start seeing the results, guys. That's why it's so important, no matter what you do every day, is to plant those seeds. That's the only way you can reap those rewards later. Laura, I saw you unmute. Did you have something to add on that?
I was unmuted.
I saw you unmute. Nothing. Okay. I'm just going to add the link. Jim Allen has a Google Business Profile class coming up on Monday, August 8th. If you're interested in joining that, you can go to notarycoach.com/courses. I'm going to put that link in the chat there for you. It starts at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Now, speaking of classes, I'm going to bring up Laura here because I know this has been eagerly anticipated. Real world notary training on the East Coast again. Laura?
Yes, we're going to Georgia. So if you know any Georgia notaries or you're a Georgia notary and you want to participate in that August 13th, which is a Saturday, and it will be, let's see, it'd be 10 a.m. Georgia time, right? 7 a.m. my time. And we're going to go through reviewing the rules of the road for Georgia and then walking through documents and practicing in a safe environment so we don't practice on the public. So I'm very excited to announce that that is ready. The link is ready. If anybody wants to register for that, we're ready for them. And then my other announcement, of course, is that we're moving along towards Symposium, Notary Symposium, which is coming along. And as we have been working on that, making sure there's the best event possible for you, we have added yet another speaker who will be part of our opening session, and that's Vanessa Terry of Notary to Notary. So I'm very excited to bring her on board to help us get ready for this amazing event with an amazing lineup of speakers, headlining with Hal Elrod, Morning Miracle. Why do I say it backwards? Miracle Morning. I just have not gotten it right every time. And we're going to learn all about the framework and how it can make a difference and keep us true when times are difficult. So that's what my announcements are. And if you want to buy tickets for that, notarysymposium.com.
Yes, and I posted that link in the chat. I am so excited about Notary Symposium and how Elrod, guys, that framework for the Miracle Morning built the resilience I needed first to pull myself out of the hole I was in after failing on my 26th business. But also now I still do the Miracle Morning. I still do those daily things that builds resiliency. So when things don't go according to plan, I can still rebound from that even quicker. And that's the real importance of having a morning success routine. When everything's going smooth, it's great, it feels good, you're in the group, but it's when things go haywire that the real value of something like that shows up. All right, I think we have time for a few more here. Susan, thank you so much for being here. You want to unmute? Tell us what state you're in and how we can help.
I am in Florida, in Palm Bay, Florida.
Oh, I'm a Susan too. Which Susan are you talking about?
I'm sorry.
Susan Kiefman.
I cut in line. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Susan Oliveira will come to you next. Susan Kiefman.
Hi, Susan. Hey, I was just, I wanted to just add on to that estate attorney type of thing. Yeah. I've done networking for many, many years as a mortgage loan officer. And one of the things I learned is when you're in a meeting with someone else, let's say you're doing a notary for a loan signing or whatever, you know, you might ask them if they have an estate attorney. Because if they do and they're willing to share that information with you, you now have a warm call to the attorney saying, oh, I just was helping one of your clients, And I wondered if you had a few minutes just to speak to me about, notarizing loan, estate documents. So, I mean, I don't know if that would work in this thing, but it does work when I networked in the mortgage business, just to get referrals to the professionals that your clients are using. I mean, is that considered kosher?
I think so. Am I understanding correctly? So you're saying like if an attorney hired you to go out and deliver.
Well, let's say you're doing a loan signing, for instance, and you notice that they have a living trust as part of their documents, right? And you say, oh, I see you have a living trust. I work with state attorneys all the time. Do you mind if I get a hold of your person? Who is that? And maybe if you have a good relationship with that person, and maybe they'll say, yeah, well, here's my attorney's name. This is his phone number, and say, can I? Is it okay if I mention your name when I call? And that might be a way to get your foot in the door with an estate attorney that you're not currently, working with. What do you think? Is
That's
that viable?
interesting. That's interesting. I think you're on to a great outside the box way of thinking here. Laura, what do you think on this particular situation?
Well, I think if you're a direct hire for that particular assignment, I might consider doing something like that, but I would not do it if I was hired by somebody else to try to get a referral when I'm on the job for somebody else. So
Okay,
I
like a
would
signing
limit.
agency. You don't want to do it then.
limit it,
Okay.
to when I was a
Mhm.
direct hire, meaning it was my own client.
Yeah. But I like where you're thinking here, Susan, because I think, if we tweak that situation a little bit, and instead you have built a referral list of your own, right? So you have an estate planning attorney or 6 that you have worked with in the past, or you just know are awesome, or you just know them in the first place and you want to support them. And then at a appointment of some kind, the conversation comes up, oh yeah, I really need a trust. We've been talking about that, whatever. It would be appropriate to say, you know what, I've got a great person. Let's wrap up this appointment and I'll be happy to email you a connection, or I'll introduce you via email, or I'll introduce you via phone after this appointment. I think that's where a next level opportunity for referrals could be.
Well, that helps your client that you're in front of get an attorney. I'm talking about as far as getting getting a referral for yourself. So you're saying if it's a signing agency, just stay away from it. But if it's a direct client, or you found this person yourself, then it's cool. That's basically what Laura's saying.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what I heard her say. That if you're in an appointment with someone and you've been assigned there by someone like a signing agency, you really shouldn't be asking any questions like that to your clients. But if you got it through a direct client, or you found that person yourself, it would be okay to ask them who their estate attorney is and if you could contact them. I think that's what Laura said to me. Is that correct, Laura?
Well, definitely it was correct that I said, don't go there when you've been sent by a signing service or a title company to go take care of that
Right.
client. We should only be focused on that business at hand. When it's my own client, it was direct, like if I'm doing mail-aways or some other reason the client, the signer contacted me. I don't even know if I'd go too much into it. Just, I'd have to marinate with that, because it feels like solicitation at the table when we're trying to take care of something else. So it's not feeling right for me, but I can't tell you why. So I have to sit with it. For me personally, I don't know if I would do that. If it came up, I was invited to take care of power of attorney and a healthcare directive and a last will for these ladies, which was a great appointment. And we had a great time. And then they mentioned, well, we're going to get a trust document because we own property. And they said, it might be too much for me to do on my own. I might need an attorney for that. And I said, well, I do work with an estate planning attorney here in town. Would you like her information? And so it went that direction, rather than me noticing they had a relationship with an attorney already, and then me asking if I can jump off of their relationship. I don't know. There's something about that doesn't feel right to me yet.
I think it probably comes down to the rapport that you're having with your client. But, we'll see. I think you just have to feel that out.
Mhm.
So, I don't know, whatever. That's just a suggestion, because it always works for me and what I do for a living. I do a lot of networking. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Susan. All right, great. Phil, thank you so much for being here. Love seeing you here.
I'll make it 20 seconds because I want to get to Susan in Florida. CEO Wellness event on August 13th. Don't miss it. I know a lot of people come in a little late, but we had Shanice who was able to talk about it. Thanks so much for allowing her to do that, Bill, Laura, Jen. And then, as Bill's already posted in the chat, you don't need me to say the rest. Bill's already posted. Take care.
All right, thank you so much. Phil leads a call at 1:05 p.m. right after this TNT call. The link is at the bottom of notarycoach.com/TNT. Susan in Florida, thank you so much. Welcome to the
Hi.
Susan party. How can we help?
My question is kind of about Ron, if that's okay to ask about Ron
Sure.
here. Okay. I'm new at Ron. I'm just still getting comfortable with the platform that I chose. But my question is, I just don't know how to bill for it. I mean, do I just bill? I mean, like with mobile notary, you can add on your travel fee and things like that. But with Ron, I'm sitting here in my office. Are we able to add on like the platform fees that we pay onto the cost that we're charging the customer, or how? I just don't know how to do that.
All right, great question, Susan. Thank you for bringing it here. And we'll just preface this really quickly and say that, because there's notaries from every state, lots of states here on today's call. So this is definitely state specific. So I know I'm going to bring Laura up here for a second, but I know she's going to start out with saying, what does your statute say? What have you looked at your statutes to see what they describe and allow for you?
I looked at it briefly, and we are allowed $25. But I didn't really get a good explanation of what else we can tack on, or if we can tack anything else on, if we can put those transfer those fees that we pay onto the customer.
Great question. Laura, do you have any insight or
Well,
perspective?
I probably have to actually read the statute to see what it allows, but if they're already allowing you to charge for the notarization and they're allowing you a technology fee, I would doubt that they're allowing you to tack on other fees.
Right. I just
don't
meant
do
like
that.
the technology fee and things like that. Not extra, because
Well, the technology fee is to cover the fees that you're being charged on the platform.
okay.
That's the idea.
Okay.
And then your $10 for your notarial act.
Mhm.
So in Florida, if you just have one document, depending on the platform you've chosen and what those fees are,
Mhm.
you may not make a lot of money on that.
Right.
If that person has 5 or 6 documents, now it may be a different story.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
I would go back and read it. Usually it's very specific about you can charge the notarial fee, and if they allow for other fees, they stipulate it there as well. So if you're saying there's a $25 technology fee, that means it's a $35 assignment. And what are you going to pay out of that?
Well, that's what we can charge for notarization in Florida, $25, and then extra for extra stamps. And
So you're saying it's your RON fee is $25 for a
Mhm.
notarization,
yeah,
each notarization.
yeah.
So if you had 2, it'd be $50.
That I have to actually read it because I hadn't really gotten too much into it. I
You need
believe.
to read
so.
your statute.
Yeah. I
Again,
just didn't know if we could put anything else. Like I said, with the mobile notary, we charge travel fees. I didn't know if we could actually put our technology fees, I guess you would call them, pass them on to the
well, the
customer.
reason it's not $10 per notarization, that extra 15, I believe,
Goes
is
toward
for the
platform.
technology fees.
Oh, okay.
That is
Okay.
what that's for.
That makes sense. Okay. All right.
Great question. And then somebody posted,
handbook.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, just read your handbook.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think they did a pretty good job of getting pretty specific in Florida as well, Susan. So
Okay.
there's an article that somebody posted in chat for you. I can't tell who did that. Thank you, whoever posted that.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You got it. Thank you for being here. All right. Thank you, everyone. Jen Neitzel, thank you so much for committing your time to co-host with us today.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. This was a great one.
Yeah, this was a great conversation, well needed, deep questions. So thank you to everyone. Laura Biewer, thank you so much again for co-hosting Tuesday Notary Titans with me.
Love it. Love it, love it. Every week, here I be.
And guys, thank you for being here, growing yourself and your business on the Tuesday. We'll see you same time, same place next week, 12 p.m. Pacific, right here.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.